Section 16 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Happy is England. Happy is England! I could be content to see no other verdure than its own, to feel no other breezes than are blown through its tall woods with high romances blent. Yet do I sometimes feel a languishment for skies Italian, and an inward groan to sit upon an Alp as on a throne, and half forget what world or worldling meant. Happy is England, sweet her artless daughters, enough their simple loveliness for me, enough their whitest arms in silence clinging. Yet do I often warmly burn to see beauties of deeper glance, and hear their singing, and float with them about the summer waters. End of Happy is England by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 17 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. To Fanny. I cry your mercy, pity, love. I love. Merciful love that tantalizes not, one-thoughted, never-wandering, guileless love, unmasked, and being seen, without a blot. Oh, let me have thee whole, all be mine. That shape, that fairness, that sweet minor zest of love, your kiss, those hands, those eyes divine, that warm, white, lucent, million-pleasured breast, yourself, your soul, in pity give me all, withhold no atom's atom, or I die. Or living on, perhaps, your wretched thrall, forget, in the mist of idle misery, life's purposes, the pallet of my mind losing its gust, and my ambition blind. End of To Fanny by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 18 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. To One Who Has Been Long in City Pent. To one who has been long in city pent, 'tis very sweet to look into the fair and open face of heaven, to breathe a prayer full in the smile of the blue firmament. Who is more happy when, with heart's content, fatigued he sinks into some pleasant lair of wavy grass, and reads a debonair and gentle tale of love and languishment? Returning home at evening, with an ear catching the notes of Philomel, an eye watching the sailing cloudlet's bright career, he mourns that day so soon has glided by, e'en like the passage of an angel's tear that falls through the clear ether silently. End of To One Who Has Been Long in City Pent by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 19 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Ode on Melancholy. No, no, go not to Lethe, neither twist wolfsbane tight-rooted for its poisonous wine, nor suffer thy pale forehead to be kissed by nightshade, ruby grape of Proserpine. Make not your rosary of yew-berries, nor let the beetle nor the death-moth be your mournful Psyche, nor the downy owl a partner in your sorrow's mysteries. For shade to shade will come too drowsily, and drown the wakeful anguish of the soul. But when the melancholy fit shall fall sudden from heaven, like a weeping cloud, that fosters the droop-headed flowers all, and hides the green hill in an April shroud, then glut thy sorrow on a morning rose, or on the rainbow of the salt sand wave, or on the wealth of globed peonies. Or if thy mistress some rich anger shows, imprison her soft hand, and let her rave, and feed deep, deep upon her peerless eyes. She dwells with beauty, beauty that must die, and joy, whose hand is ever at his lips, bidding adieu, and aching pleasure nigh turning to poison while the bee-mouth sips. Aye, in the very temple of delight, veiled melancholy has her sovereign shrine, though seen of none, save him whose strenuous tongue can burst joy's grape against his palate fine. His soul shall taste the sadness of her might, and be among her cloudy trophies hung. End of Ode on Melancholy, by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 20 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. On Fame. Sonnet 1. Fame, like a wayward girl, will still be coy to those who woo her with too slavish knees, but makes surrender to some thoughtless boy, and dotes the more upon a heart at ease. She is a gypsy, will not speak to those who have not learnt to be content without her, a jilt, whose ear was never whispered close, who thinks they scandal her who talk about her. A very gypsy is she, Nilus born, sister-in-law to jealous Potiphar. Ye love-sick bards, repay her scorn for scorn. Ye artists love-lorn, madmen that ye are, make your best bow to her, and bid adieu. Then, if she likes it, she will follow you. On Fame, Sonnet 2. You cannot eat your cake and have it too. Proverb. How fevered is the man who cannot look upon his mortal days with temperate blood, who vexes all the leaves of his life's book, and robs his fair name of its maidenhood. It is as if the rose should pluck herself, or the ripe plum finger its misty bloom, as if a naiad, like a meddling elf, should darken her pure grot with muddy gloom. But the rose leaves herself upon the briar for winds to kiss and grateful bees to feed, and the ripe plum still wears its dim attire. The undisturbed lake has crystal space. Why then should man, teasing the world for grace, spoil his salvation for a fierce miscreed? End of On Fame, by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 21 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. On the Grasshopper and Cricket. The poetry of earth is never dead. When all the birds are faint with the hot sun, and hide in cooling trees, a voice will run from hedge to hedge about the new-mown mead. That is the grasshopper's. He takes the lead in summer luxury. He has never done with his delights, for when tired out with fun, he rests at ease beneath some pleasant weed. The poetry of earth is ceasing never. On a lone winter evening, when the frost has wrought a silence, from the stove there shrills the cricket's song, in warmth increasing ever, and seems to one in drowsiness half lost, the grasshoppers among some grassy hills. End of On the Grasshopper and Cricket, by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 22 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. To Autumn. Season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless with fruit the vines that round the thatch eaves run, to bend with apples the mossed cottage trees, and fill all fruit with ripeness to the core, to swell the gourd and plump the hazel shells with the sweet kernel, to set budding more and still more later flowers for the bees, until they think warm days will never cease, for summer has o'erbrimmed their clammy cells. Who hath not seen thee oft amid thy store? Sometimes whoever seeks abroad may find thee sitting careless on a granary floor, thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, or on a half-reaped furrow sound asleep, drowsed with the fume of poppies, while thy hook spares the necked swath and all its twined flowers. And sometimes, like a gleaner, thou dost keep steady thy laden head across a brook, or by a cider press with patient look thou watchest the last oozings, hours by hours. Where are the songs of spring? Ay, where are they? Think not of them, thou hast thy music too, while barred clouds bloom the soft dying day, and touch the stubble plains with rosy hue. Then in a wailful choir the small gnats mourn among the river sallows, borne aloft or sinking as the light wind lives or dies, and full-grown lambs loud bleat from hilly bourne. Hedge crickets sing, and now with treble soft the red-breast whistles from a garden croft, and gathering swallows twitter in the skies. End of To Autumn, by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 23 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Fill for me a brimming bowl. Fill for me a brimming bowl, and let me in it drown my soul, but put therein some drug designed to banish woman from my mind. For I want not the stream inspiring that heats the sense with lewd desiring, but I want as deep a draught as e'er from Lethe's waves was quaffed, from my despairing breast to charm the image of the fairest form that e'er my reveling eyes beheld, that e'er my wandering fancy spelled. 'Tis vain, away I cannot chase the melting softness of that face, the beaminess of those bright eyes, that breast, earth's only paradise. My sight will never more be blest, for all I see has lost its zest, nor with delight can I explore the classic page, the Muses' lore. Had she but known how beat my heart, and with one smile relieved its smart, I should have felt the sweet relief, I should have felt the joy of grief. Yet as a Tuscan mid the snow of Lapland thinks on sweet Arno, even so forever shall she be the halo of my memory. End of Fill for Me a Brimming Bowl by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 24 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. How many bards gild the lapses of time! How many bards gild the lapses of time! A few of them have ever been the food of my delighted fancy. I could brood over their beauties, earthly or sublime, and often, when I sit me down to rhyme, these will in throngs before my mind intrude. But no confusion, no disturbance rude do they occasion, 'tis a pleasing chime. So the unnumbered sounds that evening store, the songs of birds, the whispering of the leaves, the voice of waters, the great bell that heaves with solemn sound, and thousand others more that distance of recognizance bereaves, makes pleasing music, and not wild uproar. End of How Many Bards Gild the Lapses of Time by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Section 25 of John Keats Selected Poems. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leonard Wilson. Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art. Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendor hung aloft the night, and watching with eternal lids apart, like nature's patient, sleepless eremite, the moving waters, at their priest-like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing on the new soft fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love's ripening breast, to feel forever its soft fall and swell, awake forever in a sweet unrest, still, still to hear her tender taken breath, and so live ever, or else swoon to death. End of Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art by John Keats. Recording by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio.